Good morning, kindergarten. This is the first video in our unit where we are going to explore life cycles, and we're going to be learning all about NGSS Standard Life Science 1, and we're going to learn about how we can use observations to describe patterns of what plants and animals, including humans, need to survive. Before we went to e-learning, we learned a lot about what plants need to survive, and we know that plants need light, air, sun, and water. But we're going to learn a little bit about what animals need, and then we're going to learn about one specific kind of animal's life cycle. Let's start with, what do animals need to survive? I want you to think, what do you know already about what do animals need to survive? Think about what you need to survive. Well, we know we need food. We eat food from the vegetables or fruit or meat, but different animals eat different kinds of food. So here we have a picture of food we might eat from a grocery store. We also know that we need water. All living things, plants and animals, need water to survive. We also know that we need air, just like animals and plants need air to survive. We need to have something to breathe. And the last thing that's unique, kind of unique to animals, plants need it too, but animals more so, is we need a habitat. So your habitat is your home. And animals have a habitat too. In our picture here, you can see that there's some ducks, and their habitat or their shelter is a pond. And I don't think those ducks would be very happy if I put them in the desert or I put them in the snow. So that's why we need to have spaces for these animals to live. We're going to learn about what is an oviparous animal, or an egg-laying animal. Oviparous means egg-laying. Ova means egg. So we know that any animal that lays eggs to hatch their young is oviparous. So one animal we can probably all think of, because we use their eggs a lot in our food, is chickens. We know that chickens lay eggs to hatch their young, but there's lots of other animals besides chickens that lay eggs. All kinds of birds lay eggs. Anything with feathers, it lays eggs. That includes parrots. That includes ostriches, which are the world's biggest birds, which also lay the world's biggest eggs. And it also includes hummingbirds, the world's smallest birds that lay the world's smallest egg. Look at how tiny those eggs are. They're smaller than their thumbnails. There's all other kinds of animals that lay eggs too. Frogs and amphibians lay eggs. This includes toads. Some things you might find in a pond that live with frogs that also lay eggs are fish. We know fish lay eggs to hatch out their young. And reptiles, that includes lizards lay eggs. Snakes lay eggs to hatch their young. And a couple of odd animals that lay their eggs too. A platypus is an animal from Australia. They live in water. They can come on land, but they very rarely do. And they kind of look like a combination of a bunch of other animals. But they're part of the echidna family. And they have webbed feet like a duck. And they have a bill like a duck. But they have fur on their bodies. And oddly enough, they lay eggs too. And all the mammals that lay eggs are all from Australia. There's only 5. And a platypus is one of them. And another one is this. This is an echidna, and echidnas are also egg-laying animals. And they live in Australia too, and they have all these little spikes on their backs to protect them from predators and to keep them safe. And they use that little nose that looks like a little pig nose to kind of root around in the soil and find bugs to eat. So let's learn a little bit about what we're going to hatch. You might have seen that picture I posted earlier today. And at the beginning of the year in our classroom, we got to see a video of some chicks hatching, but we didn't really get to follow along. We just got to see what happens. But now we're going to really follow along and learn about it. So these are called Japanese quail. And I have these birds as pets. and they lay eggs for me and my family, and we eat them. They taste just like chicken eggs, but they're very, very good for you. They're really high in minerals and they're really low in fat, so they're very healthy. And these birds, they look a lot like chickens and they act a lot like chickens. They come in all different colors and they hatch out little baby chicks from little eggs. Their eggs are pretty small. About 3 of their eggs is the same size altogether as one chicken egg. So when we make omelets on the weekend, we make omelets using 16 eggs because those eggs are a lot smaller than a chicken egg. So this is the life cycle of a bird. So this is showing a chicken, but it's the same thing for a quail. So first we start with that adult bird, or chicken in this case, that adult bird, and it lays an egg. And in about 3 weeks' time, for our birds, it only takes about 18 days, it hatches and it turns into a chick. And then pretty quickly, that chick grows up to become an adult chicken that can lay more eggs and make more chicks and grow to be more chickens. But chickens need to keep their eggs nice and warm because if they're not warm, they won't ever hatch. So we have to put our eggs in an incubator, and this is the kind of incubator that we're going to use. And inside it has little tiny slots where I can put the eggs, and then when they hatch, those babies are going to stay in there until everyone is dried off and ready to go into their little pen. So normally when we think of chickens hatching eggs, we think of a mama hen sitting on her eggs, and quail don't really do that. So that's why we put them in an incubator. But normally if they were out in the wild, they would sit on their eggs to hatch them, and then the mom protects the birds until they're big enough to go on their own. So here is a really fun little craft you can do with your kids or parents if you're listening that you can do with them. So it's very simple, and you can take a picture of this and post it in the Google Classroom. The first thing you need to do is cut out a big egg, or use a big blank piece of paper is fine too. And then you can draw or paint, or you could print out a picture. They use paper strips to show the nest. You can do that too. And all you need to do is show me the egg, the hatching egg, the chick. And then in the end, we have a full-grown bird. So they used a handprint, but you could trace your hand or just draw a chicken is fine too. And then we draw those arrows to show what comes next. So we know that before we can have a chick, we have to have an egg. And then finally, make sure you post and share it. We want to see how creative you guys can get. So I want you guys to check the Google Classroom daily for some exciting updates and to watch our hatch along. So every day I'll post a quick little update on the eggs, and in a short 18 days we're going to have some Kepler quail. So I'm very excited, and I wish we could do this in the classroom together, but we still get to all watch and hatch the birds together. Have a great day.